Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 1st of May for the Sun or the Ascendant. I'm going to give you some standout details to look out for, but please stay with me. I will then explore each of the 12 zodiac signs in much greater detail. If you're a returning visitor, thank you so much for joining me once more. If you're new here, it's great to have you with us. I'd be honoured if you would subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. Also, if you'd like to get your free daily horoscope fired to your device each morning, please see the link beneath this video where you can subscribe. And if you'd like to have a one-to-one with me, please also see below where you can read my testimonials. Now this week begins with a really important astrological event, and that's called the Mercury cazimi with the Sun. Mercury, of course, is retrograde at the moment in the sign of Taurus, and that's asking us to think very much about our sense of self-worth, our values, everyday money, and the foundations of our life. Also, the sign of Taurus, where the Sun is located along with Mercury and the North Node and Uranus, is very much about food and also about where we gain pleasures. It's ruled by Venus. So the combination of the Sun and Mercury so closely together as we see it from Earth, despite Mercury's retrograde, gives us a chance to try to be more flexible about some of our attitudes which may be quite stuck and a little bit rigid. So if we can flex, that's a good thing. Now Uranus in Taurus, not its best location, is in a good alliance with Mars in Cancer, also in full. But that combination is asking us to think outside the box. Now, of course, the main event this week is the Scorpio lunar eclipse, an exact mirror image of the Taurus lunar eclipse, which occurred on the 8th of November last year and predicated the financial crisis that we have been going through since then. But Saturn, the planet of restriction, was in the sign of the collective, of the people, the sign of Aquarius when that event occurred. And that led to a lot of restriction for us all, but also a lot of outspoken pushing back around what's seen as perceived unfairness. So I feel that this particular eclipse is going to see more revelations, but also around not just the financial sphere, but also around some very famous people's attitudes to intimacy. So I'm trying to be very diplomatic there. So because Uranus is in the mix, I think we are going to see lots of more shocking revelations over the next 6 months, but also a continuing push to reset our attitude and relationship to our consumption of resources. So we're being asked, particularly with Saturn in a great link with the North Node, to actually embrace a more spiritual, emotional and psychological sphere rather than purely a material one. Now when it comes to romance this week, with Venus and Neptune in a square exactly on Thursday, but in touch with one another all this week within 3 degrees, things can really seem a little confusing. If there is someone who's being very flattering but rather elusive, do proceed with caution. And that's the great thing about this Taurus energy this week, because it's asking us to gravitate towards the things that are really solid, tangible, and give us a sense of security. You know, whether it's making our own food from scratch, growing our own vegetables, going for a nice walk in the country, having a lovely cup of tea with someone we're very fond of. Those solid, secure things can be a great antidote to the swirling mist of Neptune applying to Venus, which can be very flirty, but also very deceptive. So if you do meet someone that you find to be very alluring, do proceed with a degree of caution. But then on Sunday, Venus relocates, joining with Mars in Cancer. If you have or do make some changes to where you live this week, which wouldn't be a surprise, or some kind of rental or house purchase plan takes a lively step forwards, I feel that what Venus does is bring a more healing balm to the more aggressive energies of Mars, which of course is more action orientated, but a bit defensive and a bit moody in the sign of Cancer. So there's a little bit more of a softening as this week draws to a close, but a great opportunity to think about redecoration or some kind of family gathering or reunion. Now, please stay with me for your in-depth forecast from Aries through to Pisces. If you would like to understand how Sirius astrology can work its way into your situation in such a profound way, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data of time, date and place of birth, I can produce for you your life roadmap report, totally unique to you, which can help you to understand some of the patterns that have gone on in your life, but also get a much more intimate understanding of how to work with them. In my special package of 30% off, you can also get your 12-month personal forecast. This can give you searing insights for the months ahead, but if you don't know your time, my solar package, which I've recently developed, and if you are someone who really enjoys watching your sun forecast, if you don't know your ascendant, because you don't have an exact idea of your time of birth, then these charts can be very, very helpful to you. Again, the same package, 30% off. Please see the link below. So Gemini, your week commencing the 1st of May forecast is exciting in a way because it's another week closer to when the sun makes its transition into your sign in week 3 of May. But as the month begins, so Mercury, your ruler, is in that tight relationship with the sun. But really, I feel that we have to look at the wider context of all the energy gathering in House 12, because it's not just, obviously, the Sun and Mercury is the North Node for the time being, and, of course, the erratic energies of Uranus. So Uranus is angling positively to Mars, but that could see you making some impulsive spending decisions. What Taurus asks us to do is try to see the value in things, not just in an ephemeral way, but in a more solid way, a more substantive way. So if you are tempted to splash out, just be aware of that. Also, because you pride yourself on your intellect and your quick wits and your clarity and the way that you can pivot and really flex to any situation so flexibly in a way that's cramped with Mercury in your 12th house and with Venus in your sign. It is giving you right through to the end of this week a huge opportunity to perhaps reshape your appearance or to be very alluring, but because it's in the square with Neptune, that's in the part of your situation to do with your professional area, your 10th house. So my proposition to you is that if you're in some kind of situation where politically you don't feel that comfortable, if the vibes with the people you have to work with, whether it's remotely, whether it's within some kind of trade association, whether it is in a physical place that you actually go to work, if you don't really feel that comfortable, I think that's going to be flagged up a lot by the lunar eclipse, because the lunar eclipse is asking you to think about the more practical dimension, how things are ordered, how you feel in your physical domain, your health, your vitality. And if something is getting you down more in terms of how you're soaking up energy, or you're resisting looking at something that is more sensitive, which is possible, because you do like to work through the elements of air, your ruler, keep things as clear as possible, but you're being really pushed at the moment to confront perhaps some uncomfortable realities, some anxieties, some nervousness, some agitation with Uranus. All of those things are possible. But the great takeout for this week for you, I feel, is that by Sunday you could have some kind of financial breakthrough which really can delight you. That could be a little flutter through a game of chance. It could be something that is something more serious in terms of an improvement to your financial situation. But I feel if you are working somewhere that you're not enjoying, or you're very drained or run down, this particular lunar eclipse is really asking you to try to liberate yourself from something that you may be sticking with, because at some level you think it gives you security, but actually it may be trapping you into something that's stopping you flying free and doing something that actually is much more productive for you and your range of talents. It's been a real pleasure being with you, Gemini. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like, comment, or subscribe.